Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, giving my views, thoughts, and opinions. We got a good one today as we check out the Draft Network's own Keith Sanchez, baby, as he's got the NFL mock draft path to the Super Bowl. Next year's Super Bowl. This one's already over. But this one was done just a day ago, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy. When you use promo code Broshmo, when you sign up, they match your first deposit up to $100. They currently got the big board, little board, best ball leagues going on, which include rookies prior to them even being drafted. If you think you got a good head for the draft, you think you know who's going to produce well their rookie year, then go ahead, partake in that. That's always a blast. But let's go ahead, get into this. This is part 6. I say part 6, version 6 of, oh my gosh. This is version 6 of Sanchez's mock drafts, but we got a trade at pick 1, and it's a little bit of a surprise. To be fair, I think the Draft Network has been exploring the different trade options at 1, and this time we're going to go with the Raiders. Let's look at the trade value. Oh, don't think he necessarily has it, actually. But the Raiders trade up to 1 to get Bryce Young. I like this because I do think Mike McDaniels, if he has another disappointing year, will be on the hot seat. I don't care what some Raiders fans, he's not on the hot seat. They specifically said he wasn't on the hot seat. Oh, I don't know. That sounds like NFL ownership wouldn't tell a coach they were on the hot seat. Wouldn't tell fans everything's not okay. I don't know, man. I just feel like another down year of McDaniels after they went out, they inquired. Everything they did last offseason says we're not rebuilding. They went out and got youngster Chandler Jones, and then they traded the first 2 rounds of the 2022 NFL draft to get Devontae Adams. Those are moves that say, hey, we're not rebuilding. We're trying to compete. Now they're back to this. Okay, we got to find a quarterback. We got to. So them moving up to 1's interesting. I'm kind of curious what they probably give up for this. I don't think they're in the market for Anthony Richardson because, again, I think McDaniels is on the hot seat and he is not in a position to develop a quarterback, or at least he won't have the time to develop a quarterback. We know that NFL coaches have very short leashes nowadays. But they get Bryce Young. Kind of interested to see what the Bears will do at, I think they're pick 7. All right, Houston Texans, they go with C.J. Stroud, next quarterback off the board. I think they're your top 2 quarterbacks. I think it's Bryce Young, tier 1. Next tier, C.J. Stroud. Next tier, you got Will Levis and Anthony Richardson, and then it's the rest of this draft with a little stop at Tanner McKee, probably day 2. But D'Amico Ryan, go ahead, get your signal caller for the future, and then continue to rebuild your franchise with the remainder of your picks. I like it. Let's see which non-quarterback prospect the Cardinals will snag, and they get Jalen Carter. I think that's the right call. I think Jalen Carter, I have him as a bit of, I think at the end of the day, I have him ahead of Will Anderson. I've been saying 1A, 1B, but I really think I kind of give Carter the edge here. I think both are phenomenal, but I just love Carter, man. He was a guy that I talked about consistently last year, during last year's draft, about, dude, Georgia's got all these first-round defensive prospects, and the best player is going to remain there at Georgia in Jalen Carter. He's that good. They're losing Zach Allen to free agency, possibly, and J.J. Watt did retire. So interior makes sense. They have young edge rushers there. Doesn't mean that they necessarily are out of the market for like a Will Anderson. I don't think that's the case. They don't have a Will Anderson level of pass rush or a pass rusher on the roster. All right, let's keep going. Indianapolis Colts, they're like, we still need quarterback. So we're going to get Will Levis. I think this is a good spot for Will Levis. I really do. I mean, that's a good roster they have there with the Colts. I don't think they necessarily need to rebuild, but reload. Fortunately, they have the pick 4, so they're gonna be able to get one of these these top quarterbacks in this class. Even if they are unable to move up in the draft, I think it'll be fine for them. So they grab Will Levis, and I think it's the right call. I really do. I think it's fine. Will Levis definitely. We talk about maybe like the decision making could definitely be better. At the same time, man, I feel like his ball placement could be a bit better as well. Even because you look at like some of his like turnovers, his interceptions, and you see a lot of like dropped balls, tipped balls, but they also aren't the best placed passes in the world. But I think Will Levis definitely, he's got the high end tools you're willing to bet on to work out. All right, Seattle Seahawks are going to go with Will Anderson. This has to be Will Anderson. It is, in fact, Will Anderson. They don't have a star pass rusher on the squad. They have a lot of complementary parts. Nwosu, I think, is a very good edge, too. You got Darrell Taylor, who's very good in that rotation, or would be very good in this rotation, as well as Boye Mafe, you're hoping pans out, because keep in mind, you're going to have to eventually, Nwosu, I think he's only on a 3-year deal, so he's going into year 2, so could end up being a cap casualty after this season. Taylor he's going into I want to say he's going into year 3, so he's going to have to be a decision if you want to extend. So I like this pick of Will Anderson. You get a star pass rusher. Detroit Lions, let's just see corner, why don't we? Christian Gonzalez, in fact, it is corner. So I think corner makes a lot of sense at this pick. It's the best value. You get your pick of whatever corner you want in this class. Me personally, I think Christian Gonzalez is probably going to end up being the top guy, just because he's going to test out well, measure out well, compared to Devon Witherspoon or Joey Porter. So yeah, no, I like this. And then Detroit, like, you could sit pretty at 18, and because it's no guarantee you could get like Joey Porter. It's no guarantee you can get Devon Witherspoon at 18. So grabbing your corner here and then seeing what's left, or maybe just taking the best player on the board at 18, I think is a good option. All right, this is the Chicago Bears. I'm very curious what this pick will be. That's kind of, you know what? This actually feels like tackle. This really does feel like tackle. It's Paris Johnson is in fact tackle. All right, I was about to say, I was like, oh man, could we see receiver? And I was like, you know what? No, this is probably tackle. Paris Johnson's a really good prospect. If you're looking for a tackle prospect, he's kind of the guy, right? There's going to be concerns with Skoronski's length. And how he tests out compared to some of the guys who do have the length required to play tackle. Guys like Broderick Jones, guys like Paris Johnson. Johnson, I think, kind of edges out as edges out as the top among those guys. He could play either side. He played right guard back in 2021. Also, this is not a big knock on, like, Pierce Skoronski, I think, can make it in the league at tackle, but he also has that positional versatility where he entered Northwestern as a center recruit, and he's got the body and ability to play guard as well. So it's like, I think Skoronski does translate well, but if you're specifically looking for tackle, he might be the guy you pass up on. All right, the Atlanta Falcons, Tyree Wilson, Miles Murphy. I think those are my two options here. Oh, it says Broderick Jones. I know they're pretty high on Broderick Jones. I'm pretty high on Broderick Jones too. He's top 20 prospect for me. I get it. They really should bring back Caleb McGarry. He played so well this past season, especially specifically for what Arthur Smith wants to do. So I don't think they're going to be in the tackle market specifically for that. Maybe you can make a case that like maybe eventually you want to move on from Jake Matthews and his contract. Let's take a look at Jake Matthews' contract. Because keep in mind, let's look at all different types of possibilities and rationale. All right, so there's actual potential out this year. Oh, you're not taking that out. Because I think that's a post. Yeah, that's definitely a post, like June 1st. So, like, yeah, your out's coming like after the 2024 season. That's when the outs really come. And I'm assuming post, because he just had his extension just happened prior to the season. So it's like your outs come after the 2023 season, post June 1st, or after the 2024. So does it feel maybe bit early? I know he's 30, gonna be 31. I don't know. I don't think tackle's the answer here. I think you go edge. I think edge is one of the most dire needs for this roster. The Carolina Panthers aren't going to risk the biscuit on Anthony Richardson. Instead, they're going to go Myles Murphy. I'm a big fan of Myles Murphy. I believe they're switching to a 3-4 for all intents and purposes. Could very well be more of a multi-front defense. Again, a lot of defenses are a bit hybrid nowadays. It's not as simple as 4-3-3-4. But like Myles Murphy would be nice. Would be a nice player in that regard. Basically, probably a more high end. What's the cat's name? Gross Matos, right? Something like that. I forgot his name. Former Penn State second round pick. I believe he was second round. But yeah, no, I like this. So give Brian Burns some more help. All right, this is for the Eagles. For me, this is a prime spot to go ahead and take a corner here if you really want. With Tyree Wilson on the board, it wouldn't surprise me if he's the pick there. Let's go ahead and see what they do. Oh, they go Bijan Robinson. Okay. Freaking Bijan. Who knows where this cat's going to go? I don't necessarily... You know what? This isn't out of the realm of possibility. I think it's much bigger than, oh, well, Miles Sanders is a free agent. They weren't able to run the football outside of Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. Grabbing Bijan Robinson, a guy that could also play a vital role in the passing game. And I mean, you got the offensive line for him, even though they have some significant free agents there. They have enough depth to where I'm not too worried about it, but like, for Bijan, you kind of want that offensive line that's like spick and span. Like, oh, we're ready to go for a prime running back. Like, I'm not going to lie, y'all. I'm not against it, but I prefer if they were to trade down. All right, Tennessee tight ends. This is, well, this feels like it's still Peter Skoronski. So let's go ahead and take a look. Tennessee Titans go. In fact, Peter Skoronski. Yeah, Luan's gonna be cut. They also have a spot open at left guard because their left guard position was pretty dog water last year. But ideally, you're grabbing Skoronski to be your left tackle of the future, which is fine. I guess Dylan Radins could come in and play left guard. Hopefully, he works out in some shape and form. You got Nicholas Petit-Frere there, a right tackle. They would be foolish not to bring back Nate Davis. And Ben Jones still playing well. So, yeah, no, that's fine. Houston Texans, really, they could go anywhere. I don't think I'd be shocked. This one's Quentin Johnston. This is a favorite for a lot of people. I get it. It's very sexy pairing up your quarterback pick with a wide receiver pick. And Quentin Johnston's real nice, brings that size. He's not Nico Collins. He's a vastly different receiver when it comes to Nico Collins. He's got more speed, I think more after the catch ability. And I mean, you also have John Mechie there. A lot of people point out if the Stroud's the pick, though, might not be. Like, if I don't know, would Houston really be that butthurt to where they're like, oh, what? Stroud, Deshaun Watson's agent's yours? Oh, screw that. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. I really don't know how everything went down with the Texans and Deshaun Watson's agent. So, I don't know. That's an interesting thought, though. I don't know how much it actually means or matters. But like, if they take Stroud, like, you can make the case for Jackson Smith-Njigba. You can play John Mechie on the outside, and hopefully it works out that way. I had him as a slot player last year in terms of his projection. So here I'd rather get a guy like Johnston or Addison. All right, so Jets, this feels like Brian Branch. I like the idea of Brian Branch here. Because just all the top tackle prospects are now off the board. I'm trying to think other places they could go. Shoot, man, if they want to get real froggy, go ahead, take Drew Sanders here. Get Saleh that linebacker. No, Brian Branch is really the only one that really comes to mind. Tyree Wilson, I mean, the value, I guess, is there, but let's see what it is. Oh, it's DeJuan Jones, so they're going to go ahead and take him this high. I like DeJuan Jones better as, like, back end of the first round type of guy, but the 13 does feel a bit early. I mean, but essentially you are replacing Mekhi Becton with a Mekhi Becton-like guy. So, yeah, there is that. So I have been saying I love the idea of the Jets going with an offensive tackle at this pick. The top three ran off the board. If you're only doing that one trade in this draft where they did the 1-1, then I guess you can make the case, like, then I guess you could say, oh, we're not doing any other trades, but you could talk about this as a trade down spot. All right, New England Patriots, they're taking Tyree Wilson. This is a really good fit, and it's the best value on the board. I like it. Let's keep going with the Green Bay Packers. They get Jackson Smith-Njigba. And I mean, I guess to speak more on Tyree Wilson, outside of just best value on the board, like, he does fit this Bill Belichick's, like, multi-front defense. Like, he could fill a plethora of different roles at the same time. Jackson Smith-Njigba, I think they go ahead, they get that slot with Rondale Moore. Looked like Rondale Moore was basically done. We don't know what's going to go on with Aaron Rodgers just yet. But Jackson Smith-Njigba comes in to be that slot, and suddenly your receiving core looks real scary. Really, really does. Or even for Jordan Love. Washington Commanders. The best spot right now, corner. I would say corner has the best value, and the Commanders could definitely add more talent and competition to the corner position. And in fact, they do. They go Devon Witherspoon. Nice. So they go Devon Witherspoon here to the Washington Commanders. Good fit. I'm really trying to think, is this Joey Porter going to the Steelers? Oh, Joey Porter's in the freaking thumbnail. What am I saying? Okay, it's Joey Porter to the Steelers. All right, I like this. This is they're a big, like, cover 3-man defense type of squad. Joey Porter, I think he'll be fine in man. You could play him in press on man, and I think ideally that's kind of what you want to do with him. And then you could play off coverage and zone. I mean, does that telegraph a lot? Sure, but I'm pretty confident Joey Porter is going to test out as a better athlete than some are anticipating, or at least some are anticipating it. I think those were kind of the knocks. Like, not to, like, where he's, like, I'm not saying like Joey Porter is going to test out dog water. I mean, in comparison to Witherspoon and Gonzalez, who are guys who are expected to test out exceptionally well, is Joey Porter going to be able to match those guys? Because then he kind of gets back into the conversation of corner one. But yeah, no, this is cool. Joey Porter gets to play for his dad's team. All right, Detroit Lions. What are you doing? They're taking Brian Bresee. Listen, I think he's probably the best player on the board at this point. I like the fit with him and Aleem McNeil on the inside. I think that looks real scary, and I'm totally down for it. I'm open to it. On to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They go Lucas Van Ness. So maybe do they feel this is too early to take that next corner off the board? Maybe they feel really good about the cornerback value in round 2. Keep in mind, Jameel Dean, Sean Murphy-Bunting were, I believe, both round 2 corners, or at least day 2 corners. So they don't necessarily have to take corner here, but they could definitely do it in the next round. I'm kind of surprised they don't go Anthony Richardson and just start the rebuild. Just maybe they're probably going to just not necessarily tank next year, but kind of see how next year plays out. Lucas Van Ness' team really struggled with pass rush. It's kind of funny. I think the idea of him replacing like an Anthony Nelson, who also came from Iowa. But Joe Tryon really needs to take that next step. They still have Shaq Barrett, obviously, but outside of him, there's not much pass rush. Seahawks are taking Anthony Richardson. This is the thing. If I'm taking Anthony Richardson at 20, I'm taking him at 19. That's the problem. But I do like this. Like, this means, hey, Gino, hit him with that franchise tag, or even maybe a 3-year deal they could get out of after maybe 1 year. That way you just develop Anthony Richardson for a year, and it's kind of this quick turnaround at quarterback. I like it. All right, Miami Dolphins forfeited their picks. I love to be reminded that. I really do. Chargers, Jordan Addison. This has to be Addison, right? It's freaking Luke Musgrave. Dang it, dude. This is what I get for guessing. Luke Musgrave is the first tight end off the board. Suddenly now there's this discrepancy when it comes to who's tight end 1. I still think it's Mayer. You just saw my tight end rankings. And for me, the next closest guy is Dalton Kincaid. I'm a big Kincaid fan, and I kind of feel like, yeah, I'm willing, like, if there's a team that really wants to go tight end at the back end of the first round, he's kind of that guy. Depending on how he tests out compared to Mayer, like, I'm not saying there's a swap there, because obviously Mayer is the more complete tight end, but I think it's a lot closer than people make it seem. Luke Musgrave, he's third for me. He's in that top 50 area, but I don't know if I'm taking him over Michael Mayer. Let's see how really close he is to Dalton Kincaid by the testing. I think that's going to be an important indicator for some people like me. So let's see how close they are in testing. I really have a good feeling about Kincaid, former receiver at University of San Diego. The Baltimore Ravens go Zay Flowers. They get some speed out there for Lamar. They basically get him another Hollywood Brown-esque player there. They could also... Well, no, I guess there's not a lot of options here. Like Addison, but I mean, maybe you go with Flowers instead of Addison. I think there's a case to be made there. Excuse me. I don't know. Either or. So do we see a Brian Branch come off the board soon? Not yet. John Michael Schmitz going to the Minnesota Vikings. Garrett Bradbury is a free agent. There is a case to be made that Dalvin Cook could get traded. I would have taken Brian Branch. I think he's the best value on the board. I'm totally open to the idea of guys like John Michael Schmitz or Steve Avila sneaking into round 1. But for the Vikings, maybe not. Maybe not. I feel like I kind of want to swing at maybe a more high value position. Like Brian Branch would be freaking phenomenal. The Jacksonville Jaguars, Brian Branch. They go Cam Smith. They need a slot. Darius freaking Williams. I'm getting that right? His last name's Williams, right? Yeah, it's Darius Williams. Come on, I know my stuff. He moved from the slot to the outside, played significantly better. You kind of feel like you have your two outside corners in Tyson Campbell and in Darius Smith. You don't grab Cam Smith and be like, well, we could just kick Williams back into the slot when he wasn't good at the beginning of the year in the slot. He's a better outside player. Grabbing Brian Branch kind of fills that. I get it. Okay, cornerback's a volatile position, add talent, add depth. But with how good this corner class is on day 2, it's like, just take a day 2 guy. Just grab the best player on the board. Giants are next. This has to be Jordan Addison. Freaking Caillou Blue Kelly? Oh, no. The Giants outplayed expectations last year. But to be honest with themselves about the status of this roster. But they have to be. Right? But they have to be honest. Okay. They have to address the many issues on the roster. One of those being the secondary. With this pick, the Giants draft Caillou Blue Kelly. But why Caillou Blue Kelly? What has he shown you that says he is a first-round pick? I'll wait. I feel like he's a better off zone corner too. Or just zone corner in general. Okay. Dallas Cowboys go Keely Ringo. I like adding, like, matching up Trevon Diggs with Keely Ringo. I think that's kind of sexy. All right, let's keep this rolling. Buffalo Bills. Jordan Addison's on the. Oh, Osiris Torrance all day, right? Brian Branch. So, I do think that Antonio Johnson actually is a better fit. Like, Brian Branch, I kind of want to play in the slot. Can he play safety, like traditional safety? I think he can. But I think Antonio Johnson might be better for their coverage scheme. Osiris Torrance, 10 times out of 10, I'm taking him here because the offensive line was pretty bad for Josh Allen and company. So, wow. All right. Do we see Darnell Wright, Anton Harrison here at the Bengals? It wouldn't surprise me if he goes Osiris Torrance either. What the Jahmyr Gibbs? Yo, I know if you ditch Joe Mixon this offseason, it's like, oh, man, we really need a running back. Freaking get one day two. Miss me with this. What? You know, the Chiefs did this when they were a hot team a few years ago. They drafted a running back at the back end of the first round. Oh, man. And then he ended up getting replaced by a 7th rounder and a undervalued free agent. Why do we do this? Why do we keep making the same mistakes of the past? Why? All right. Saints pass rush. You're kind of into that next tier of guys like Keon White. No, obviously Nolan Smith, BJ Ojolari. Question is, do they really fit the scheme? Not really. So it's probably Keon White being the next guy. Edge is, I think, a position I like here. Honestly, you could talk about even defensive line. Kalijah Cansey, Eddie Tomiwa, Eddie Barrier, though I feel like I'm the only guy that probably has the balls to take him in the first round. I mean, shoot, even Mozzie Smith, if he tests out well, people are going to talk about him as a back end of the first round player. It's Derek Hall. They're high on Derek Hall. It's fine. They're high on Derek Hall. I'm not this high on Derek Hall. Let's go ahead and see what the Eagles get. They took running back. Do you take corner here and like Emmanuel Forbes, Tyreek Stevenson, Kalijah Cansey, okay. A lot of people really like the Kalijah Cansey pick for the Eagles, so that's fine. Depending on what he measures out at the combine, that really could kill the first round hype for Kalijah Cansey. All right, we got the Chiefs here. Jordan Addison's on the board. Let's get to it. Anton Harrison. Jordan, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember seeing Jordan Addison at all. Jordan Addison did not go in this first round. That's wild. Is it unlikely? Probably. Is it impossible? Not at all. Listen, good players fall in the draft all the time. Anton Harrison, obviously, Orlando Brown. He wants to be paid a ton of money. Like, the Chiefs already offered him a grip of money. He said no. I feel like he's gonna get this rude awakening in free agency. Maybe he comes back. Even if he does, like, your right tackle position's not all that great, which would be funny because how I would do this is I would take Anton Harrison, I'd move Orlando Brown to right tackle, but Orlando Brown wants to play left tackle. So maybe he doesn't come back. But, yeah, no, tackle's definitely a viable option here. I think Jordan Addison would be exceptionally sexy, though. But it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. As always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.